This is I Dare You with me, Francesca Escoto, your host, where professional women over 40 get the courage to embark on a new adventure. Welcome, Mi'esha. Thank you so much for joining I Dare You today. I am excited to have you for a lot of reasons. But even in our conversation just before we started this, I learned even more about how awesome you are, and I'm very, very much looking forward to this conversation. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to our conversation. I'm always a little nervous, like what are they going to ask me? And then they ask me a question, and I just keep talking and talking and talking.
So you realize there's no need to be nervous, and
Right.
you're in good company because I think we're both introverts in the sense
Oh
that
yeah.
we recharge when we are on our own, when we
Yes.
are maybe with a hot cup of something by, a little corner with a good
Mm-hmm.
book. So I got you. Um, so one of the reasons why this podcast was created is to show women, especially women over 40, but any woman that is looking to do something new, that it is possible to balance things and to, people sometimes don't move forward with new ideas or new projects because they think they have to stop doing one thing to do the next thing. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought you were a great example of someone who is doing two things very well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So let's tell people about that. And let's start with this award winning school counselor in the state of Georgia. Um, Tell me about the first love of your life, right? Which is,
The Lord first,
yes,
but I get what you're saying.
yes.
So by day, I am a professional school counselor. This is my 10th year in the profession. I've been a counselor in the States, and I've also been a counselor overseas. I was in Egypt for 2 years at an American school over there. So I'm an international player, as they say.
Yes.
But yes, this is my first love. I'm in elementary right now. I have done middle school. When I first started, I was a middle school counselor. So imagine that. I'm not tall at all. I'm 5'3". I don't look
Oh,
my
we're the
age.
same height.
Oh,
We blend in.
yes. So in middle school, it was a bit of a challenge just because I'm small, the kids are bigger. I'm walking in the hallway. I had to make sure I had my name tag on because some staff were
Hmm.
like, "You need to go to class," and I'm like, "I work here." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And so I remember in those early days, like purposely like making sure I wore heels or putting on a little mascara just to make sure I'm a grown up, y'all. I have 2 degrees. I'm a grown up. I work here. So I really do love just my career of counseling. It's been just transformational for me, being able to bridge the gap for my students and their families between home and school. I've worked in the state side, I worked at very high needs school. So I'm currently at a very high needs school. And so, the little things that we take for granted, some of our students, they have to worry about like what are they going to wear? Are they going to have clean clothes? Their family doesn't have food. They don't have school supplies. It's getting ready to get cold. They don't have winter coats. And so those are the things that they're thinking about. They're not thinking
Hmm.
about
Hmm.
2 plus 2 or
Right.
what
Or
a
even
normal
homework. Can I get my
is.
homework done? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
so like I'm able to come in and fill in that gap for them, of course, like with me and my co-counselors in our departments and the funds that we have, and just to be able to be a small slither of their life that they can say, I was able to come to school because I had school supplies or things like that. It just makes my heart just melt. And I just know that I'm doing the work that I'm supposed to be doing. And so, of course, I know that I can't save them all, but if I
Hmm.
can leave
Hmm.
work every single day knowing that I made a difference in one of the students' lives or one of their parents' life, then I know that I've done what I'm supposed to do. So I really
Well,
love,
that has gotten you a
yeah,
lot of recognition.
yes.
And I'm sure
So
you don't do it for the recognition, right? You do it for that heart melting moment when that
absolutely.
family is changed. But in the
Yeah.
process, what
Yeah,
has
in the
happened?
process, I as of Friday, this past Friday, I was announced as the Georgia School Counselor Association well, it's a governing board, but I'm the Georgia School Counselor of the Year. So for the whole state of
Wow.
Georgia, I am the counselor. That's the way that my friends have put it. Like, I'm the counselor of the year. And earlier this year, I was named the elementary counselor of the year for my district. So February, I was named elementary counselor of all the elementary counselors in my district. I was named the one. And then this past Friday, I was named the Georgia School Counselor of the Year. And then I'll go on, they'll nominate me for like it's the American School Counselor Association. So like on the national level. So that's where we are. I don't do my job for the recognition. I was telling you earlier that like it's really difficult for me to like brag on myself or boast on myself. Like the past few days, I've been walking at work and people are like, "Congratulations." I'm like, "Hey, thanks." So just working on just embracing it and allowing people to like give me my flowers while I'm here, as they say. But
Right.
that takes a lot of my time during the day. It takes a lot of my energy. It takes a lot of my capacity. But I wouldn't be doing anything else.
Yeah. And then you have a second love
Yes.
that has evolved and morphed
Yes.
over time.
Yes, it has
So,
more.
yeah, yeah.
So my second thing, so like my side thing slash figuring it out, what you're gonna do. Recently, earlier this year, I pivoted into content creation influencer. When I started, I didn't even tell you this part. So when I started back in like the end of 2017, I started as like a blogger.
Okay.
And I was going down that path. And then when I was in Egypt, I pivoted to doing coach. And so by nature, like I'm a helping person. I have
Right.
degrees in counseling. I have 3 degrees in counseling. And so my friends are always asking me like different questions to help them with their lives. And so while I
Yeah.
was in Egypt, I pivoted to coaching in that I was helping women to learn how to prioritize their faith and their mental health, because we know as women we're busy, we have all these things going on, and we don't take care of ourselves and we don't spend time with God until it's like a dire need and we like, oh Lord, if you help me do this, then I
We start
promise you
making
I'm gonna go to
promises.
church. Yes. And so just, showing women that it's not difficult to make
Yeah.
time for yourself. It's not difficult to make time for God, and it's not difficult to make time for your mental health. And so I pivoted to that, and that's when I was in Egypt. And then when I came back to the States, I was still doing that. I had a membership where I had monthly master classes that helped women, whether that's teaching them a simple way to prioritize their mental health. It was anything about like navigating seasonal depression, which is coming up once the seasons really start changing. And then we have Bible studies, and I also hosted 2 years ago now a brunch. So I had an intimate brunch experience, which is definitely like an act of God, because your girl didn't have no money. But the
So
Lord.
that brunch that you did, so was your coaching practice geographically located in such a way that people could come together during brunch?
Yeah, so the coaching was online because I didn't have the capacity. So it was online.
Okay.
I had some women that were in New Jersey, different parts of the states. And so the brunch, anybody could come if they bought a ticket and drove to Atlanta. It was in Atlanta.
Okay,
But
got it.
I was very intentional with the brunch. It was open. It was called the Bold and Beautiful in You brunch. And I was just talking about, I was teaching, I did a mini master class, but it was really just a way for us to build community and come together. It was
Yeah,
very bright
that's important.
colors. I was able to partner with a local florist. They donated some flowers. They had catered brunch. I did a keynote speaking, talking about fear and getting ahead of fear. It was a very intimate and nice brunch. People still ask me to this day, like, when are you gonna have another one? I'm like, ooh, girl, the Lord ain't told me to do it yet, but when He do, I will let you know. So that was then, and then last year, I paused business stuff because we were having like just life changes and things like that, and just balancing work and then trying to do that and then feeling like I was empty when by the time it got time to pour into the ladies, I just halted business stuff.
Yes,
And
yes.
maybe like late last year, like maybe like November, December-ish, I kept feeling this nudge like I really want to help women. Like I want to empower them again. Like I miss
Mm-hmm.
posting and like just posting different tips and getting like the comments back like, "Oh, this helped me so much." But I
Right.
knew I didn't have the capacity to do the membership again as much as I
Mm.
loved it. I just didn't have the capacity. And so, just thinking and just, reflecting and praying and like just Lord, what I'm supposed to be doing because I want to help women. I want to encourage women, but like I also know that I have a gift, I have knowledge, and I want some coins
What am
too,
I
Lord. So
to do with that? Yeah.
ooh, I want some coins too, Lord. So I don't want to be just, I'll give people the clothes off my back, but I know that I have so much in me with whether that's experience or knowledge
Mm-hmm.
and wanting to find a way to still be able to pour into other women, but also like still like get a few coins.
Mm-hmm.
And so content creation influencer was just like dropped on my spirit. I'm like, ooh, I don't know, Lord, tell me. And so I start like praying in my prayer journal, like, if this is what you want me to do, then give me a sign and tell me what you want me to do. I don't know what I'm
Mm.
doing, but I'm
Yeah.
going to try it and I'm going to figure it out. And one thing about me, like I would try a lot of stuff. Like I moved across the country, well, across the world without having even been visited there. Like
Yeah.
I tried out for a professional football cheerleading team, like knowing I didn't even know how to do no splits and the jumps and all that stuff. Like I'll try it. Like
Yeah.
I'll try it. And like what I can say is like I tried it and either I
Uh-huh.
liked it or I didn't like. So I said with content creation, with
Well, let's
influence.
pause there for a second because I think that this is where people get stuck in their heads. There's the self-talk, and
Mhm,
it's a voice that sometimes we don't even hear. We take it as fact that, oh, I don't know how to do one, two, and three, so I
mhm,
cannot do one, two, and three. And
right,
actually, there's a difference between I don't know how to do this thing right now versus I cannot do this thing ever. Right?
right.
Those are two different thought processes. So that's one thing to point to. And then let's talk about because you've spoken on fear. Fear is a big one for me, and not just fear, but courage. Right?
Mhm.
Courage only exists when you experience fear. You
Yep.
cannot be courageous if you're not scared,
Yep.
right? And so what is it like to move to Egypt even when you are perhaps scared or wondering, am I going to survive there? Am I going to be well? I don't speak Arabic. I don't speak Farsi. Like, what's that
So
process like?
so it's a lot of praying.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of the Lord got me. So when we moved, my husband and I, we moved to Egypt a year and 2 months after our 1 year wedding anniversary. And when I remember when I presented the idea to him, I was just like, "Oh, what about doing like moving overseas to
Mm-hmm.
somewhere to be a counselor?" I had heard of like teachers doing it, but not so much school
Mm-hmm.
counselors. And so when I saw positions, he was like, "Let's do it." And I'm like, "Really?" He was like, "Let's do it."
All
And
right.
so it was just a leap of faith, didn't know what we were going into. I had interviews at different schools, but Egypt was just the one that checked the most boxes for like our situation. And so I remember my dad, he was like, "You going over there and you never been over there?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like I'm like the school is an American school. They have an embassy, like their system seems set up. They have a Facebook page. You can ask questions. Like I don't think it's gonna be in the middle of nowhere. And so it was kind of one of those things like, okay, it's a 2 year contract. If we get there, we don't like it, we come home. But we
Mm-hmm.
don't have kids, we don't have a house. It's me, my husband, and our cat. And the only thing was like, I don't have kids, but I have a cat, and he must come with us.
Yeah.
He must ride on the plane, not under the plane, because
Uh-huh. That
he's
yes,
full.
traumatizing. Yeah.
But yeah, it was just one of those things like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Mm-hmm. And for people listening, risk aversion is a thing. Maybe you won't move to Egypt, but maybe you can move cross country. Or maybe the
or maybe you
thing
can
that,
take a class. Like maybe you've always wanted
right.
to do, I don't know, water aerobics, or I don't know,
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, yeah. If
Right.
Mi'esha can move to Egypt,
Oh yeah.
having never visited, you could do whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
In essence.
Didn't know no lick of Arabic at all. And still don't
Yeah,
know a lot, but I knew how to get home.
that's right. That's right. And you made it back and you're
Yep,
here,
I did.
school
And I mean,
counselor
and
of the year for the
it
state
was,
of Georgia. So
yeah,
you came back
it was
bigger and better.
it was definitely a great move for the both for myself individually, but also like my husband individually, but also like
Mm,
us as a unit. Because with us moving there after a year and 2 months of being married, like we're still newlyweds. And so it was just us. It was us
mhm.
against the world,
Yeah,
literally. And so figuring out how we're gonna navigate things, like figuring out like how Mi'esha is when she's stressed, how Christian is when she's stressed. Like, do I talk to her because she's mad? Like, do I talk to her when she's sad? Like,
right,
all
right.
those things, like, we figured out, we learned so much about each other in that time. And so when we came
Mm,
back to the States with our families, like, our boundaries were much, much, much stronger because, like, y'all, we was living 7,000 miles away from y'all. We ain't got to see y'all all the time. Like, we ain't got to talk to
right.
y'all all the time. So, this right here, this is our family unit.
Hmm.
So it was definitely great for us.
So it was good for you professionally to have that experience, the cultural
Mhm.
experience expanded you and expanded your husband. But what I'm hearing is that it was good for your marriage.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Okay. Okay,
definitely.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Because again, one of the fears that people will have is, oh, I can't do this to my family. I can't start this new thing, whatever the thing is. And their idea is it's going to hurt the family unit, it's going to take away from the family
Yeah,
unit.
they don't look at
But
the benefits of it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And there's actually a lot of opportunities for goodness
Hmm.
when we as women expand, our family expands.
Absolutely.
So that's awesome. Now let's fast forward a little bit and let's talk about um, becoming a content creator while you have a full time,
Oh yeah.
right? And
Hmm.
so here you are in this season of your life, balancing two things, but you still have the husband and you still have the cat and you're still an introvert, right? So, like, those things haven't changed. So, how do you manage your time, but also your energy?
So as a school counselor, I have to. I saw this. I don't know why I won't get this shirt, but it's like a multitask ninja or something
Yeah.
like that. Because as a school counselor, like you're doing this, and you're doing this, you're planning this, and then you're talking here. So it's a lot of. It takes a lot of balance. It's a balance to actually be a school counselor, especially at a school that's very high needs. And so me naturally, I'm a planner. Like I have to-do lists. Like my family says, like Mi'esha is just OCD. I'm like, I'm not OCD. I just like things in decency and in order. And y'all ain't in order. Okay. So that's me as a person. And so when you add that on top of just the career that I have where I have to be like able to
Hmm.
move all those parts, being able to do that in my home life, I have to be able to do that as well. And so this year, actually, like this school year, I decided that I wanted to be more intentional with not stretching myself thin because
Okay.
I was a person who did stretch myself thin, like saying yes to people. Oh yeah, I'll do that. Oh, you need somebody to do that? I'll do that. And so, of course, I realized that I did not have the capacity for it. I should have said no, but for the sake of, not making people mad or like the people pleasing, which all of us have a
Hmm.
little bit of that, I decided that no, this school year is going to be different. And so I actually used Chat GPT.
Mm.
It's $3.99, but I use Chat GPT to kind of just brain dump. I was like, these are the things that I would like to get done in the week. Help me make a schedule. And of course, like
Oh, check that out.
they spit stuff out and you can tweak it, but I knew that like I want to exercise. I want to have my self-care. I want to have my solo date once a month. I want to have my date nights once a week. I also like want to not do all of my chores and grocery shopping and meal prepping on the weekend. And so ChatGPT helped me like kind of map it out. And so now,
brainstorm a different.
yeah, like I can do it by myself, but like I can type it 2 seconds in ChatGPT and it spit it out. Like it's free. I'm gonna use it. Free or not, I like free. So now
if it's free, it's for
it's
me.
neat. Hello. So now I've of course like some days and some weeks are like a little more chaotic, but I've found a lot more balance in saying that like, oh, okay, on Mondays I'll clean the bathrooms, on Wednesdays I'll do laundry, and I'll do the same for like business tasks as well. So like it might be Mondays, I'll check emails, Tuesdays I'll schedule posts, Sunday I'm not doing anything, like I'm gonna rest. And so just being able to like lay everything out that I need to do and that I would like to do, but also being realistic that like every week is not the same, that's helped me balance it a lot. And my husband, we have open conversation about that. And so like I made a little cute little graphic and put it on the refrigerator, and so like his chores are on there, or like things that he's responsible for in the house are on there, things I'm responsible for are on there. And so it helps us stay in the know, and it helps alleviate like, well, you ain't clean the cat litter and you were supposed to do it, or like things like that. But it is beneficial for us.
I live in a house with, let's see, my mom lives here, my husband, my dog, myself, and then my 3 kids, 2 in college, 1 is still at home. My art studio is here. I converted the garage. It's where we are now, but I will not show you guys the rest of this space because it's chaotic. And we don't have a schedule posted, and I'm making that point because there's so many people that are kind of in and out, since my daughters that are in school come home and then they leave. But when they come, they, of course, they bring laundry and like baskets of things, and so the house kind of goes through ups and downs in terms of tidiness and organization and coordination. And I think that at the end of the day, because people will be hearing this episode and be like, oh, well, she has no kid. Well, I got kids. And I think that what happens is that you make choices. You decide what's going to give. You decide how you're going to get done the things that are most important. And we, to be, and I'm going to call this high-performing females, one of the characteristics of high-performing females is that we know how to delegate and how to include other people. There's, in a different season of my life before intensive therapy, I didn't know how to not only ask for what I needed, but to not take on the things that were not mine.
Absolutely.
Right. And so I would end up doing more than I could handle and more than I was responsible for. So for those of you who are out there saying, well, I just can't because I have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Well, there might be an opportunity for you to reconsider that list that you have and make room for those things that are more aligned with your purpose, with your calling. If you're not spiritual in that way,
and also realizing like I have this on my Instagram, like we can do it all, but not all at the same time. So like I'm the cooker in my house. I don't want my husband to cook dinner because we gonna eat chicken, kale, and beans if it's up to him. I don't want him to cook. But I enjoy cooking. Like I really do. But like I would prefer me to wash clothes because he liked to wash clothes, but not fold them right away. And I like the clothes to be folded right away. Little things. But like I know that I don't have the capacity to do it all on Saturday and go and spend time and do whatever I want to. So I know it still has to get done. So on Wednesday, I'm gonna wash clothes. On Sunday or Saturday, I'm gonna meal prep as much as I can. Like it's still getting done. It's just not all getting done on the same day. And so you just have to evaluate, and like it can be something as simple as writing it on a piece of paper. Like these are the things that I need to get done. These are the things I want to get done. In a perfect world, we would all like to have, Angela Bassett body, J-Lo body. We exercise.
J-Lo money.
Give me the money. You can keep the body. We all want these things. We have to remember, like, we don't have that level of success yet. And so we have to use what we have and create systems that work for us. Like you said, I don't have children yet. you have children, but like even though I don't have kids, that don't mean I'm not busy. That don't mean I
Of
don't
course.
have moments where I don't feel like doing anything. Like I still have things to do. I still have chores and things to get done. Like just because I don't have kids doesn't
Absolutely.
mean that I'm less busy than you are.
Exactly. And busyness is an individual choice, right? So I can have hobbies and friends and committed to ministry at church and running a business and being at work and have no children, right? So the things I commit to, those are the things that fill up my time. And I should have, or I have discretion over what that is. Right. And so in your case, you're saying, well, I don't have children yet, but I want to fill up my time with X, Y, and Z. And so how you balance all of that will always be at your discretion and something that you can bring to your husband, who is your partner, but some people are single. And so if you ain't got no husband, girl, go fly. Right. Because you still have that much more
Freedom and just
freedom to
time. Yeah.
choose. Exactly. Exactly. So what's next?
What's next? Oh, I think what's next is just for me to continue just evolving. I've been, like I mentioned to you, I've been very intentional with just saying no to things, saying no to people. But in that, just also focusing on like staying in the present because I am such a planner. Like I have to be a planner with my job and just who I am. But I've just been trying to be intentional with just staying in the present. And so I found this journal. I got a new journal back in August where it's like a daily self-care journal. And it makes me like pause on like what am I grateful for in this moment? And so like, I'm like, oh, I wish that this brand would, answer my email, or I wish that, I could post 17 times a week on Instagram or whatever like that. But like just really like being okay with like, okay, Mi'esha, like maybe you don't get a post up this week. Maybe you don't, get to email this brand, but like look at what you've been able to do. Like look at how transformational that one post that you made 2 weeks ago is still impacting others or still encouraging others to, take some time for themselves or whatever. So like just basking in the present and just being okay with the journey is what I'm working on. That's for me right now. So I'm trying not to like think too much ahead because I can go down the rabbit hole. But I'm really just trying to be intentional with just basking in the moment and being present and just loving on myself and just enjoying finding like what things bring me joy. Like this content creation influencer journey is really bringing me joy from within. Like it's something that I do.
That's awesome.
By myself, and I don't have to like necessarily like be with my husband or be with my friend and feel like I'm whole or feel like I'm like special, because I'm special by myself, but like just finding like doing the content or just being me, like finding that that's what's bringing me joy. And so that's what
you're celebrating who you are through content creation. That's awesome. That's awesome. So funny enough, I am launching or relaunching, I should say, my coaching practice. I've been in the coaching space for like 15 years, probably more. I first started coaching tech startups, then I expanded and was doing, like, people were coming to me in the nonprofit world, which is how I ended up in the role that I'm in with this organization. And so all that to say that, hey, send your people over, the ones that are asking for coaching. They can come this way. For sure. But I am excited to see where your ease is going to take your content creation. Right? Yeah, because you are living what you are encouraging women to do. And so when we live our purpose that way, we are inspiration and we are a model, not a model. I mean, sometimes people get that wrong, but it's like we can show others what's possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, and that's what I say. Like if one, I forget the scripture, but if I could reach one person, if one woman can decide, like, okay, no, I don't have to say yes to this today just by something that I post, then I've done, what I'm supposed to be doing. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so now to end, favorite book or something that our audience should be reading.
ooh. Well, on the questionnaire, I put that my favorite book is Draw the Circle by Mark Batterson. It's a 40-day prayer challenge.
Okay.
I've done it, maybe like I've read it maybe like 5 times. It's really
Okay.
good. That's definitely one of my favorite books for sure.
Okay, well, I will take that.
Yeah,
I think you might have been the second person to recommend that one already. So
yeah,
I
it's
think,
so good. It's really good.
okay. So God might be like right here
Mhm.
with a big megaphone. Francesca, this book is for you.
Yeah.
So might be. Well, Mi'esha, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story. I'm inspired. I'm one of those that wants to go live abroad somewhere, even if it's for 6 weeks. I keep looking at artist residencies and think, okay, God, I'm gonna get there. This
Yeah.
is gonna happen for me as well. So I am gonna be watching. I am looking forward to the National Counselor of the Year
Oh,
Award.
thank you.
No pressure. And I'm looking forward to your audience growing, and God expanding your circle of influence.
I received that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right, everyone.